This episode is brought to you by Cruising Bears, a global travel community built on giving bears, chubs, and chasers the ultimate vacation escape. Visit bigfatgaycruise.com for details. Hello, and welcome to the Big Fat Gay Podcast, where we talk about the things that are weighing on our minds. My name is Michael Willer. I am a chubby chaser, and today I am a hardworking gamer boy. I have been going very hard on doing some playtests for my game. Also been playing in other people's playtests for their games. It's just been a whole gaming weekend, all weekend. Like, games for days.
Hey, my name's Don. I'm a big chubby guy living in sunny Hollywood, and today I am a gentleman of new culture because I have cultured butter successfully. I have made French cultured butter, and it's amazing.
Oh my! What did you do to your butter?
It's so good. I literally had cream sitting in a bucket on my counter for 3 days. I was sure it was going to kill me, but
you mean your butter is so cultured it won't even speak to you?
Exactly. It's awesome.
Hi, my name is Dan Oliverio, author, public speaker, and chubby chaser. And today I am an Easter bonnet boy. I don't know.
Right, it's Easter.
Yeah, it's Easter, people. It's Easter. Goddamn Easter.
We are recording on Easter.
Yes.
Your miles may vary when you listen.
Yeah, if you're listening when we drop this, it's not Easter.
There's gonna be some guy on Thursday going, "Oh no!"
And there's lovely things outside. There's green trees and there's pretty little pink flowers under the tree, and it's just all Eastery. I'm gonna look for eggs.
I'm Trevor Keyson. I'm a super chub, and I'm an Easter Scrooge. Bah humbug. I don't know. We were just in New York, and then I was like, I have to make Easter happen.
Trevor, I have to say I'm feeling the same thing this Easter because I can tell you why it's hitting for me. Every single Easter candy treat I have tried this year has been chocolatey or chocolate candy. There's no goddamn chocolate to be found on the supermarket shelves for Easter this year.
It can't legally be called chocolate without.
It's all melting instantly the moment I pick it up.
Yeah, I think there's something going on with cacao imports is why.
Oh yeah.
A bad harvest.
Between the tariff stuff and global warming, like, get ready to love carob, everybody. It's coming back.
I'm perfectly positioned.
Before we get started, we wanted to, I'm thanking our regular listeners first today, damn it. You guys, the reason we do the show. There wouldn't be any of the rest of this stuff in our housekeeping section if we didn't have you guys. So thank you for listening to the podcast. We also want to thank our partner, Cruising Bears. They're getting ready for their bigger cruise in Alaska, going to Alaska, I should say, on June 27th through July 4th this summer. It's coming up fast. There are still tickets available, so get them while they're hot so that you can cool off in the summertime. You can find details at bigfatgaycruise.com. And thank you very much for supporting the show. Thank you to our patrons and partners and people who support the show monetarily. You guys keep us going, keep our editor sane. You can save 15% off a bearskin order with the promo code BigFatGayPod. That can help you get some nice, sexy underwear. I've actually been buying some more bearskin stuff lately. I really like this stuff. You can also, if you need a mattress, you can get a mattress using the Big Fig affiliate link out on our website. That will give us a kickback and help support a company that directly makes products for big people. And last but not least, we wanted to mention that we have a Discord going with people hanging out, coming up with game nights and movie nights and all kinds of fun memes and discussions. And it's also a good place to commiserate if something crappy happens and you want to be able to talk to people about it. Usually people in there have really good experiences that are related to everything that you're going through. And Dan's newsletter. It's sort of a roundup of the various subjects that we've talked about that you may have missed on the show, as well as other little tidbits and potentially some polls and other things like that. We do not spam your email. Don't worry about that whatsoever.
No danger.
It's just an opt-in thing. There's no exactly. There's no danger. And with that, we want to get into some pop culture.
Yay.
Kansas City Star. A Houston hairstylist has accused Southwest of fat shaming him at the Kansas City airport. This article, it was hard. Basically, this gentleman had a leg of flights, right? He had multiple flights on this journey he had to take, and Southwest was one of those legs.
And by the way, this is the way back. This is the return journey.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's already flown once.
He's already flown once.
And so he tries to check in, and the woman behind the counter, she looks at his ID, looks at her computer, looks at him again, and says, I think I'm going to need you to purchase an extra seat.
Yeah. Like it's her personal need.
Yeah, like already, like, oh, we've started this badly. Like, this is going to go badly.
Yeah.
His response is, well, yeah, no, I don't think we're going to have to do that at all. Thank you very much.
Yeah, because he's flown so many segments up to this point with no problem within a week. He didn't suddenly gain 100 pounds.
And so this leads into a long exchange between him and the agent there. And then she gets a manager who just starts repeating to him, in our opinion, we think you should have to buy an extra seat. And hey, look, we've got your flight history here. You've used an extra seat in the past.
Yeah, that stunned me. That
now
have his history.
That forces him into a conversation where he has to defend his body at the ticket counter in front of all the other guests about the fact that he's lost some weight over the past 6 months, as though that, that validates all of this. And he doesn't need the extra flight. And he's been flying all day on various airplane seats. And after all this, in front of all the audience of the other people waiting to get their tickets, the manager says, well, fine, we'll let you go by, but we're going to watch you as you get into that seat.
We're going to watch you.
And if we judge that you are taking up some of the seat next to you, we will drag your ass off that plane and we will force you to wait for another flight.
Yeah.
And just for some like background on this guy, like he flies all the time. He flies so frequently that he gets perks and free checked bags and all of the stuff that you would get for having tons and tons of frequent flyer miles with various airlines. So like his experience, he used to be fatter and used to get an extra seat like however long ago, like a year ago, but hasn't needed it in a while. And because he flies constantly, there is a very recent and very full record of him not needing extra seats. The thing that freaked me out about this was that she referenced the system where she goes, oh, I see you've purchased extra seats with us in the past. Like clearly it's a flag in their system that this person at some point needed an extra seat, and they are using that to target people and tell them to buy an extra seat again.
So there's been a lot of stories and TikToks like this, and this is one that has gained the most traction. And I'm wondering if some of what people have been getting, because there's a lot of people who have flown with one seat in the past and been fine. I wonder if some of them are flagged in the system because there was a nice agent who, when you could still get a free seat, was just like, oh, I went ahead and gave you a free seat.
Yeah.
Just so, you
And
know,
that's flagged.
for
And that's
comfort.
Yeah.
And because there's been so much of this people, suddenly being told, well, you need to purchase 2 seats when they have not needed that in the past.
Yeah.
Well, what really burns me about this is they're treating it like some scientific metric. And it's not. It's basically, you look fat to me right now. And I'm sorry that to the previous gate agent, you didn't look fat enough. And maybe, and I've had this happen with luggage too, where like my luggage was fine going one way, but coming back, it was oversized. It's the same piece of luggage.
So fucking stupid.
But the thing is with luggage, they have those little sizers. And it would be so wonderful. How many times, I can't tell you how many times I've traveled with Trevor. And I wish they had a sample seat somewhere convenient, not at the airport, where you could just on a ride where you can try out the seat before you get on the ride. And look, you could do that. You could put it in malls. You could have like just this little piece of real estate where you have seats and, you could sit in them and you could say like, okay, how's this going to fit? What's it going to be like? Because the time nobody wants to find out is when you're boarding a flight or when you show up at the airport.
Yeah.
They
Nobody.
Congrats. You have you have no time now. You've waited on TSA for 4 hours. Get it done.
Why
Enjoy.
I think the airline likes this, though, is they like creating this choke point because they can charge you the most and it's no skin off their nose. They are keeping the money no matter what.
And also, they don't look bad if it's always the gate agent's fault. Remember, there's no real policy here. So, our agent must have been mistrained, or like, we apologize for the way our agent behaved.
Yeah.
It's never their fault. It's the person who has no shield because they've been forced to do this for them.
It's the social pressure too. Like they brought this up as he was trying to check his bag in front of a line of other people waiting to check their bags.
Yep.
I don't know, like I feel like most people already feel a degree of pressure around just wanting to kind of make that interaction happen quickly so you can make room for the next person. And suddenly you're the one holding up the line. They're telling you and anyone who can hear that it's because you're too fat and you need another seat. And the pressure to just, fine, I'll buy the ticket just to make it end.
Yeah. And boarding a plane, especially at as you get from the curb to the plane, that is never a no stress situation. That is never no stress. Not for anybody, not even for the gate agents. That's never no stress.
I'm also going to point out that they always use the defense of like, well, we're just really concerned about the people having to sit next to these fat people's comfort.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Yeah. I want to reiterate, I've told on the show before, my experience when Southwest did this to me 20 years ago. I was traveling with 3 family members. They stopped us at the ticket counter and said that Don is too fat. You need to buy an extra ticket for him. The people next to him will be uncomfortable. My family members who I was traveling with all said, we're sitting next to him. We're fine with it. And the airline still was trying to force me to buy an extra ticket. Wouldn't let me get on the plane unless I did that, even with the consent of the people next to me. This is not about their comfort.
No, it's about fat shaming.
Yeah. I also like how he stuck up for himself because, this, of course, is going to catch anyone off guard, especially like going to get the manager and basically applying extra pressure just to get him to cave. And apparently, as we just said, like the manager was using the stance of, I'm just really concerned about the level of comfortability of the people sitting next to you. Right. And our hero looks him dead in the face and says, how about my level of comfortability with us having this kind of a conversation in front of this line of people trying to check their bags? Like, it's such a double standard. It's not even, it's ridiculous.
Because you're being fat at them now. So it's your fault,
Right.
What I will say for the people who are ready to throw rocks at Southwest, they did change the policy because in those days, Southwest was, run by the nice guy who made Southwest. What has since happened and what has instigated all these changes is there was a shareholder activist takeover. There was a private equity company who bought up enough shares to be able to shift management. And in doing so, this private equity company fired the president, got rid of all the nice policies that we love, and has instituted everything from paying for luggage to assigned seating and rescinding the extra seat policy. So this wasn't just the president got mad at us. This was a shareholder activist that caused this, and that activist being a corporation.
I strongly suspect, because this is, as came up in Kenny's comments, like this is happening to a lot of people, a lot of women apparently, just sort of based on the responses that he was getting. And I wonder if it's happening more with Southwest flights because they have an actual record of people lots of people getting free seats in the past. That's my take. And somebody in a boardroom somewhere said, wow, wait, we could track this. We can track this and get those dollars by tracking it and having them buy the seat when they show up to the airport.
Let's not forget, this is also happening at the end of a certain period of time where Southwest became the airline of choice for people of size.
Yeah.
And not all of us know about it. In this article from the Star that we were talking about now, there's an entire paragraph where the airline tries to blame people for not knowing about their size change because look at all the effort we did. Look at all of our social media we posted on. Oh, silly me for not following Delta on my Facebook page.
Yeah.
So what I find interesting, so the story kind of wraps up with Kenny talking about how Southwest in a response email asked him we would like your opinion about how we should handle this, which he is not eager to really do at this point. And
but he's perfectly positioned.
Yeah. Well, and so the original customer of size policy, it became a policy, and because of NAFA, and Southwest worked with NAFA to craft having a policy. And NAFA, since when they started announcing these changes, has been trying to be hey, Southwest, we'll talk with you about this. This isn't going to go well. Please talk to us. And they have gotten nothing. So I suggest listeners go to nafa.org/Southwest, where NAFA has talked about the ways these policies have changed. FAQ, they have a petition you can sign. and also just some additional resources for other ways to travel as a big person.
I also should say, it's not like Southwest is doing something different in that their policy is at least as good, if not better, than many other airlines. However, when you take something away, people get upset.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We're sorry this happened to Kenny and to lots of other people. And fucking Southwest, get your shit together. Work with NAFA. Damn it. Jeez.
Well.
Fat watch.
Hurrah.
Fat watch 2026.
Feel the
Indeed.
breeze.
Indeed. So this, very interesting. Love this. Ater.coach, ATER.coach, a personal trainer, a big boy, a very fit boy. And what he's doing, he's parodying the Miranda Priestley monologue about like, oh, you think you just chose that sweater. Let me tell you about how you chose that sweater.
And the prompt that he has on screen is, in quotes, do you always have to talk about the fat stuff? And this is what he responded with.
Oh, I see. You think this has nothing to do with you. You go to the gym, count your calories, order your salad, and think that you're disciplined. But what you don't know is the fear of being fat does not come from health science. You're also blithely unaware of the fact that body size is largely dictated by genetics and that long-term weight loss is virtually unattainable through just diet and exercise alone. In fact, all of this started centuries ago when European colonialists started equating being thin with discipline and moral superiority, and being large, especially larger black bodies, with laziness and moral failure. And then it was a Belgian mathematician, wasn't it, who had no training in physiology whatsoever, who created the BMI scale in his search to find the ideal white man. And then all of that quickly trickled down from doctors' offices and insurance companies to gyms and wellness podcasts warning you about the dangers of carbs. I think we need more carbs here. All the way down to social media today, where you went and undoubtedly fished it out from a couple of clipped TikToks. The fact is that this fat stuff represents dismantling hundreds of years of oppression and fighting $1 trillion business. And I think it's kind of comical that you think that you've made choices that exempt you from fat phobia, when in fact your right to exist in your body without shame is being fought for by the people in this room by talking about a bunch of fat stuff.
And what I love about this is if you actually put the Miranda Priestley monologue right next to it, it is very similar, even to like, oh, we need more carbs here. Because she says something like, oh, we need more. Because she puts a belt with it. This is the cerulean sweater, if you remember that monologue. The inflection, that sort of detached contempt. He's filing his nails at some point. And I really love this because he knows what he's talking about. He has a master of science in exercise physiology. He is a trainer, and he's a very big boy. And if you subscribe to his TikTok or his Instagram, it's really wonderful. The commentary he does. Some of it is playful, some of it is serious and sciencey. It's a wonderful variety. And he also is the originator of one of my new favorite phrases, which is back evil twink, which was, he said in reference to a twink who looks like he's 17, being like, nothing tastes as good as lean feels, which is a take on these skinny feels, because skinny is out, especially for men. And he says, wait till you finish puberty before you start talking about shit like this.
It's nice to have those little boosts and moments. I actually came across that video kind of out in the wild before it got scheduled for the show, and I was like, "Oh yes, excellent! Yes. This is one of those. We need those pick-me-ups because, as we've been forewarned, our main subject is going to be a doozy." So, Trevor and Dan had an experience that I would like to hear about.
Yes,
Michael and I have not heard this yet, so we're looking forward to hearing this experience.
Here we go.
So we originally had like a really positive main subject lined up, and then
this
I had kind of the opposite of what we were going to do, So Dan and I were in New York. We had a wonderful time. We were there for his birthday. We came home. I got the mail, and there was a birthday card for Dan from my mom. But then there was another card to me and Dan. And I have the card here. And it was weird because I'm like, God. So when I saw it, it's a squirrel holding a teapot and a bunny holding a teacup. And it says more tea and then the herbal or verbal. What? And it's cute. It's okay. For some additional context. It's like tea, like gossip, like, oh,
yeah, I get that, but also what is that a card for?
Exactly. Yes. And remember, it was mailed separately from my birthday card, which I was grateful for.
Is this also from your mom?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
For additional context, tea, there's also a thing in my family of like tea or like a big T is when someone was in trouble. It was something that my uncle who had Down syndrome would say, like he would just like, when he'd see one of my cousins or me getting in trouble, he'd be like, oh, big T.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So I'm like, oh, like I have this thing of like tea. Like so I don't think my mom knows like tea is gossip other than from this card. And she said, Trevor and Dan, we need to talk about your cleaning lady. We'll chat. And so we have a cleaning lady long-term. Michael has met her like once or twice when he was staying with us.
And it's also her cleaning lady, to be fair.
Yes. And actually I realized like she started around the time I met Michael. So like 14 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's how long she's been working for us.
We have a very close relationship. I don't think she's like family because I think there's like power dynamics and capitalism and stuff. Like, I don't think that's an appropriate thing, but like she is someone who we have a intimate, close working
and trusting relationship.
Yeah.
Very definitely that. Very definitely that.
Okay. Cleaning lady, trust is your currency, you know?
Yeah. Well, also as a cleaning lady, you're privy to the inner workings of a household. That's just part of the job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like we've met her daughter. She, her daughter used to work in a building, like managing a building next to my mom. And she was like, oh, if you guys are going out of town, like I know if something comes up with your mom, I can go check on her. Okay. Like it was just, there's lots of like a closeness. So when we were, it was the day before we were going to New York, I was talking to my mom. We were talking about flight stuff and travel. And the cleaning lady came in as she was finishing up the call with me. And she's like, oh, the cleaning lady just walked in. And my mom hangs up and was like, oh, I was just talking to Trevor and Dan. They're going to New York. And
so we hear about this after the fact.
Yes. And so the cleaning lady looks at my mom and says, well, they book 3 seats when they travel.
What?
And my mom's like, oh, well, yeah, like I think that's so great. And they're more comfortable. And like, isn't it great that they can do that? And she said, it's because he's so fat.
What? And
my mom is just kind of stunned. And so the cleaning lady's going on and like, well, you're so skinny. So was your husband fat? And, your daughter could stand to lose weight. And is your other son as big as
what?
Trevor? And, and my mom is just flabbergasted. My mom is jaw dropped. She's frozen.
She can't say a word.
And yeah, she can't say a word. And she's just going on. And she's like, he just sits around all day. And I feel bad for Dan having to deal with that. And it's so sad.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
And my mom is stunned. My mom had some packages for my siblings. So she just grabs them. She says, I have to go deliver these. My mom left without her phone. She was so stunned and flustered. She like walked to the UPS. She was just so upset and ended up talking to my sister. Left some stuff like the stuff that she said about my sister out when she told my sister. My sister is very upset by this to the point that when I got this card, I called my sister like, do you know why mom sent this? Like, I know this is a thing. And she's like, oh, I know what it's about. And she's like, something happened with the cleaning lady. It involves you. And she's like, I'm not comfortable talking about it. And I'm really upset. And I think, I found this out when our cleaning lady was here. When I got all this information.
God.
Trevor is having these conversations on the day that the cleaning lady comes.
And like as she's coming down the stairs, she was like cleaning upstairs. So my mom is like, I don't want her in my home again. I don't know what you guys want to do, but like she's like, that happened last week. This week, I made sure to be out of the apartment when she came, but she's like, I don't want to see her ever again.
Wow. I mean, good for your mom, because I know there's been some like like back and forth over the years of like where she lands with all this stuff. But the fact that she had that kind of a reaction is kind of amazing.
I'll be honest. I'm straight up jealous of that reaction because I think my mom would be like, "Oh, I'm going to pour some tea. Let's talk about this." I agree completely.
And I think there's definitely an air of like, you know, the family being attacked because it wasn't just Trevor. It was kind of familial. And she's like, "Is your husband fat?" You know.
So it's this very uncomfortable situation where I'm like, "What? Do we do?" And Dan was trying to like, you know, give me space in terms of like how do you want to do it? Because most of it's on me, but I also like I said, it's not this like she's like family. It's like there's this very intimate relationship and there's also like power dynamics, and I know that like even just losing my mom as a client is going to be a financial hit, and we do contribute significantly financially to this woman. Yeah, there's also like I know just like culturally there's different gossip conversation that like it is less taboo to talk about bodies and stuff, but it's something where I've just been trying to process like how do I feel about this, especially when like it is such an intimate thing, and like she folds my laundry and I always like have kind of felt weird about that, but I feel especially weird now because it's like and she sees such intimate parts of our lives. And now I know that there is this like
judgment.
Judgment. And I don't feel safe.
I don't.
What's your immediate feeling right now? Like your gut reaction, is it to fire her? Is it to talk with her? Is it to try and ignore this? Like what is your baseline? Where are you like what is your immediate gut reaction reflex to do?
I mean, I don't know because I feel like I know that
that's fair.
Firing her would be like devastating to her, and knowing her and like knowing her family,
to her and her entire family.
Yeah. And I know it was just kind of, I don't know. I think it was just like her trying to make conversation. And I don't think it was.
Thinks that's conversation. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That should not be my statement.
Well, no, because I think it is. I mean, I thought of you and Michael because Dan was like, "Do you want to talk to someone about this?" Because I feel like I was very curious, like your opinions, where they would land. And I think this is also just like this podcast, I feel like exists in a space for like people to have these kind of conversations. And also like, I'm sure people have gone through similar things, but maybe and I was thinking about like, okay, different spaces of where I have this kind of like intimate working relationship, like a trainer, a barber or stylist, and how would I handle it in those different situations? And it's not the same, like each one would be different. And I feel like this is different. So I'm curious, like what Michael, what you would do, maybe if it was something where this happened to, you know, Michael, you found out that
your partner.
Yeah. My gut reaction is, okay, we're never seeing her again. Unacceptable. If I wanted to be incredibly generous, I would talk with her and say, that's an unacceptable thing to say about me or the people I care about. Mm-hmm. And if that's an opinion you're going to hold while you're here, then you can find work elsewhere, or we can work through this right now and give her the opportunity to choose what she wants to do about it and apologize if she wants to. But in this moment, having just heard about it, I'm like, fuck that.
Yeah, so I agree with Michael 100% on an emotional level. That's my gut reaction is, fuck you, get out. I don't want to talk about it, right? But I think what I would want myself to do, I think I would want myself to sit down with her and not be talking about job or employment, right? I think what I would say is like, I have valued you for many years, and I don't know, and I wouldn't necessarily say because you've explained your relationship and your concerns about it, but you would say like, I have let you into my heart because I trust you. because you are this person to me, and you have expressed a belief about my behaviors that I think is hurtful and makes me think that you do not respect me as a human being. Mm-hmm. I would like to talk about that before we talk about whether or not we can continue any kind of relationship and employment.
Mm-hmm. I mean, not that obviously I'm tangentially related to this, but I really like that, Don, because something I've been going over and over in my head is, one, it is really hard, because I do believe this is largely cultural. I think there's a lot of cultures, and this woman is from one of them, where this isn't a big deal. It's like, you're fat. Did you know he was fat? Boy, he's really fat, isn't he? Like, that's not taboo at all. It's just sharing what's so. And because of the intimacy in the relationship, going further and saying like, oh, is this something like it? So I guess here, wait. So let me finish the point. My point is, how would you explain to this person that what they did was wrong? And Don addresses that I was hurt, that this feels like a betrayal. And I really like focusing on that rather than trying to explain how you talk about body size.
She knows it's wrong because she didn't talk to you about it. She gossiped to your mom about it.
But I think
there's a reason why this didn't come up in your house.
Well, I think part of it is because there was, and I don't think I included this when I first told Dan, because she commented on how thin my mom was. And I think for her, it was like, but she's like saw, she's seen what my sister looks like. She doesn't know what my brother looks like. And maybe it's just her trying to be like, I don't like
curious and conversational. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I had someone else kind of comment on that about my mom, that, my mom, like, and they did it in a very roundabout way. And it's like, well, because my mom used to be fat. Like, my dad's fat, and like, but I don't think it was meant as vitriolic. It was just inappropriate, and it was a lot of it.
Do you want to have that conversation with her where you try and have that understanding? Because I hate to say it, like, the reason why I phrased it as like what I would want myself to do, right, is because that's the higher self response that I'm talking about, right? I don't feel like right now, especially, I don't feel like it's our responsibility to do the right thing, but it is our responsibility to make sure when someone has done the wrong thing before we walk away. That I would caution is like, I would, ghosting her because she does this doesn't achieve anything to anyone, right? I mean, but if you decide to let her go, an explanation to why would be, I think, necessary for everyone involved.
She has a key to the house.
Yeah.
You can't ghost her.
I mean, I have so many feelings about this, and just kind of was feeling this like bigger person fatigue of, I feel like so often as fat people or gay people or just like any kind of marginalized identity, you often have to be like, okay, well, am I going to be the bigger person here and like make this into a teaching moment? Or am I like, I feel like if I fire her, it's like, oh, that like crazy fat guy who doesn't do anything fired me because I said he was fat. And like, how ridiculous is that? And yes.
You will never know if you're getting an honest answer from her. She's proven that to be the case by this action. Mm-hmm. So now all you have to go is, do you want someone in your house who might tell you, yeah, I'm so sorry, and then it could be true, or it might not, but you have her job, as you mentioned, so she's very, very much incentivized to say whatever it is you want to hear just to keep the job. Do you want that person in your house every week? That's to me, that is the only decision you have, because you will have no real way of knowing for sure if whatever conversation occurs has any impact whatsoever, because she is fully incentivized to say whatever it is you want to hear.
I think it's relevant because here's one of the ways I think of it. Does this mistake warrant the financial devastation of her entire family? Because no. I don't, because we're not just one client of many. We actually have had significant financial transactions with her, and we'd go a long way to supporting that family. It would absolutely devastate not only her, but her immediate family, possibly her extended family, if she no longer received money from us. It is sort of like a nuclear option.
So that is an option that can be considered and kept low on the list, and Trevor, and I'm going to just step between. Trevor, forgive me for doing this. I'm going to step in front of Trevor and say, that is not a question you have to answer right now, Trevor.
Yeah.
That is something you can just think about it in the background, but I don't think it should be a guiding force. I think protecting your home and your own well-being should be first on that list, right? And if you feel that you want to and are able to repair this connection and trust her after that conversation, I think Michael makes some very valid points. What she has done here is a trust damaging event. And trust is a main freaking currency for cleaning people. They're coming into your home. They're handling your most precious things. They know your secrets. And I don't think that she thought she was spilling a secret by talking to your mom, but that the way she presented those thoughts, and if these are fundamental thinking, the way she sees you, I mean, you deserve an explanation about that because she brought that into your life, right? She's the one who broached
I completely
this.
agree.
So an explanation is the very least that is owed. I would not go so far as to say like the trust is broken, she must be exiled. I think after this conversation, you need to take some time, like not decide right after the conversation. Take a couple days, breathe it out, and then see where you feel after her new information, her new input. Because there's going to be emotion there too, and if she is honest and correct or very manipulative and lying, it may lead you to the same destination of like, oh, good, everything's fine, right? Breathe afterwards, process on what she said, make your decision after some time.
No, fortunately, I get to have this conversation right before dental surgery, so I'm in for a fun day. Next Friday.
Considering this wall on painkillers might lead you to some very new interesting conclusions. Who knows?
Yeah.
I think she's a green alien.
Don, I think that is magnificent advice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, it's, I don't know, uncomfortable. And then there's also just the factor of like, my mom doesn't want to see her again. My sister is uncomfortable. My sister will potentially, like she's coming in May. She's going to be staying with us and we'll potentially like have to face her.
Oh, absolutely. If we keep
at the very least, honoring your mother's wishes on this and no longer using her to clean your mother's house. To me, that seems like a pretty decent hit to their finances already. As Dan said, that is punishment and not crippling,
But the thing is, like, I don't even feel like I hate that we're just kind of in this capitalist society where, like, I don't want financial I don't want punishment, and I think that's just part of it because also it's like it's a long-term relationship. Like there's not a lot of people in my life who I have had this kind of like, I see her every week. She has seen the worst pairs of underwear I have. It's just,
but that goes both ways, Trevor.
And that's why it's so hard. But
you
also
have offered up that trust to her too.
Yeah.
And she's, it goes both ways. That like whether she sees it as a violation or not, you do. She needs to understand that no matter how this plays out. And if you don't feel that you are going to be comfortable offering her that kind of trust long term, maybe figuring out a way to transition out of it would be a possibility over time.
Yeah. This isn't a done situation. I'm still processing it. I just wanted to come on and share it with everyone because like I said, this is a very weird kind of specific fat person betrayal.
I would be very curious if any of our listeners have any thoughts or have had experiences similar to it that might, give some light to it. So if you do, reach out. We would love to hear from you guys.
I also want to acknowledge that using a greeting card to broach this conversation, a greeting card with a little cartoon squirrel and rabbit is completely unhinged.
I don't know. I think it's kind of brilliant.
It's
I think
such a mom thing, though.
It's so Victorian and lovely.
Yeah, that was also. I have just also been processing like, what the fuck? Like a greeting card with a cute little squirrel and rabbit to like, oh, there was this betrayal of trust of someone who occupies an intimate space in your life. So yeah, I'd be curious if listeners have any feelings, if they have experienced something similar, because this is something that I haven't really had, this kind of like weird brooch of trust in a certain sector in my life.
Thank you for sharing that, Trevor.
Yeah.
But, and guys,
I'll
we
keep
do
people
not have.
posted.
Yeah, we please do. All right, guys. So we don't have a tip today, but we do have a bit. The bit I prepared was for our original topic, but it kind of fits. For this is ambush nice things, things that happened that made the world a better place that no one saw coming, because somebody chose to do something good. Right. Keep in mind, though, as I tell some of these stories, they start in dark places. So let's get to it. All right. At some point during the 4th century, the Roman Empire was at war with the Etruscans, and they were laying siege to a city called Falaria. In that city, there was a very respected tutor who was entrusted with the safety of the children of the most powerful families of the defenders. Thinking he'd get a big reward from the Romans, this tutor snuck the children under his care out of the city and delivered them to the Roman armies attacking outside the gates.
Ouch.
Don't worry, though. Nothing bad happened to the children. Why? 1. Shortly after the children arrived, wolves attacked the Roman camp, and the Romans took it as a sign that the children should be released.
Oh, dear.
2. The tutor delivered them to the wrong Romans, the camp followers and plebeians that followed the Roman army. The working class Romans quietly fostered the children without telling the military about it and returned them after the war. 3. The children had figured out the tutor's plan, armed themselves, and managed to kill the Roman commander, breaking the siege.
Whoa.
Or 4, the Romans were so horrified at the tutor's dishonorable actions that they beat him and returned him and the children back to the Etruscans.
I just want to go with 4.
Yeah.
I just want that.
Just
I
on
just want
principle.
That's the
Sorry, what was the
wish
first
fulfillment
one?
in me.
The first one was shortly after the children arrived, wolves attacked, and the Romans took it as a sign from the divine that they should give the children back.
Yeah, it's
I want to say the wolves.
lupus ex machina.
Yeah.
We got 1 for wolves. We got 1 for the Romans schooling the tutor. Michael, what are you thinking?
I think it's the same one as Dan. They just took him back.
All right. And in fact, the correct answer is the Romans were so horrified by the tutor's dishonorable action that they beat him and returned him and the children back to the Etruscans for them to deal with. Come on, that's freaking awesome.
Yay for tutor beating.
Yay. Yay for the Romans doing something good.
Yeah.
That
Right.
will morally good for once.
During World War I, a supply vessel carrying explosives and ammunition collided with another ship in Halifax, Canada, and exploded. At the time, it was the largest man-made explosion ever seen on the face of the earth. A huge part of the city was destroyed. It caused a tsunami, blinded hundreds of people that were watching it from their windows. However, a single company still had a working telegraph line and managed to get one message to Boston before the lines went dead. Organize a relief train, send all the doctors you can, no time to explain, period. Boston rose to the occasion and on pure faith managed to send a fully loaded train filled with doctors, nurses, food, and medical gear within 48 hours of the explosion, saving many lives. 100 years later, Halifax sends Boston a symbolic gift every year to thank them for their actions on that day. What is the gift that Halifax gives to Boston every year in thanks for this aid? 1, a trainload of presents for needy children is sent over the holidays. 2, a visit from the mayor of Halifax for a ceremonial handshake and a pledge of continued friendship occurs every year. 3, a large fir Christmas tree is delivered every year for Christmas. Or 4, a free music festival with Boston and Halifax talent is held in Boston every year.
It could be all of them.
Yeah, I was thinking it might be.
One is the toys, right? Choice 1 is the toys.
One is toys. A trainload of Christmas presents for needy children every holiday.
I'm inclined to say all of them because I feel like it could be like the mayor comes on the train and
I mean, they're really good
and
distractors. Those are really good distractors, Don, because a lot of big Christmas trees come from Canada anyway. I want to go with the toys. That's what my gut says.
I think toys. That was my first instinct.
2 for toys. All right, Trevor.
I'll say the tree.
All right. And the correct answer is, in fact, the tree.
Ah.
Boston City Christmas tree every year is provided by Halifax in thanks for their rescue efforts over 100 years ago.
Fantastic.
I just think that's beautiful.
Yeah, that's great.
Don't have time to go into it today, but this particular event, I found so many beautiful stories of heroism and people stepping up and genuine, like tear-jerking acts of self-sacrifice that saved hundreds of lives. Just beautiful stuff. Worth looking into. Okay. During the American Civil War, the Union soldiers of the North had a distinct PR advantage since many nations at the time were not great with the concept of American-style slavery. In fact, there were offers of military aid from all around the world, some of which were, while very generous, not necessarily practical for the American use. Which of the following was a real form of aid offered to Abraham Lincoln that he declined? 1. Siam offered a unit of war elephants they thought might be effective on American battlefields.
Oh.
2. France offered a massive tariffs on all wine and cheese trade with the South. 3. Switzerland offered several herds of goats for lawn maintenance, food, and dairy support. Or 4. A leader of the Maasai in Kenya offered to send herbologists who could produce poison their hunters use, proposing that bullets might also be treated in the same way.
I'm going to go with the French banning cheese.
The tariffs.
To the South.
Heavy tariffs on cheese and wine.
That to me is the most logical, but who knows?
I'm going to go with war elephants from Siam. That's interesting.
I'm going to go with goats.
Okay, we are all over the board. The correct answer is, in fact, war elephants from Siam.
Jesus. All right.
That's amazing.
I read a beautiful comment on one of the threads talking about this where like all civilization board gamers and video gamers are crushed that we don't get to use war elephants in our Civil War games.
Yeah.
All right.
And think of what that would do to the Civil War reenactments.
All right. Our last question today of heroism in times of just unbelievable hardship. San Marino, the oldest democracy in the world, has a history of doing good works on the world stage, such as giving Abraham Lincoln honorary citizenship after the Civil War, and offering to take in 100,000 refugees during World War II. While 100,000 refugees is impressive in and of itself, what makes this such an especially notable accomplishment for San Marino? 1. San Marino only has 15,000 people. 2. San Marino had not been willing to accept any new citizens for the prior 50 years. 3. San Marino had no chocolate industry of note before the refugees arrived, but using the skill set of their refugees to build a whole new industry ecosystem from the ground up, they did so. Or 4. They didn't stop at 100,000 people, but ended up taking 100,000 people per month over a 3-month period.
Whoa.
I think it's number 1. There's like San Marino is the size of a postage stamp. It's a little principality in the middle of Italy.
We got one for they only have 15,000 people taking in 100,000.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure it's 15,
Michael,
but that would drop.
What you thinking?
Yeah, I think it's either all of the above or that.
Okay.
I thought the same thing.
And Trevor.
I'm going to say chocolate because I would watch that movie.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah.
In fact, San Marino only has 15,000 people.
Yeah.
And despite that, they stepped up and took in 100,000 refugees during World War II.
That's incredible.
That is freaking amazing. So, dear listener, do you have a lesson of heroism that you would like to share with us? Trevor, where can they do that?
Well, we're on Instagram and Blue Sky as @BigFatGayPod. We're on Facebook as the Big Fat Gay Podcast. Leave us 5 stars there. Leave us 5 stars and a review on your preferred podcast platform. Support us on Patreon at patreon.com/BigFatGayPod. See the articles we talked about at www.bigfatgaypod.com, baby. Maybe like me, you were an Easter Scrooge, but you've been visited by the penguins of pop culture and the eagle of Fat Watch. And now there is only the specter of the war elephants of the podcast being over. So Watch out.
Well done.
I really liked that bit, Don.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, if
Wonderful.
that
Really
that
wonderful.
explosion I talked about.